Widely regarded as one of the most haunted ships in the world, the RMS Queen Mary began her maiden voyage in 1936 as one of the largest and fastest passenger liners ever built. After the outbreak of World War II, she was transformed into a troop ship capable of carrying up to 15,000 men at a time. For countless young men, the Queen Mary carried them toward a fate from which they would never return. After her retirement in 1967, the Queen Mary was permanently moored in Long Beach, California, where she was transformed into a floating hotel with restaurants and event spaces. As thousands of guests passed through her halls over the decades, reports of ghostly encounters began to spread. Among the ship's countless ghost stories, many begin deep below deck. Our first stop takes us deep inside the ship to the engine room. But before we go any further, make sure to like and subscribe for more stories of the unexplained and the paranormal. One of the Queen Mary's darkest chapters came in 1942 when she slammed into her escort ship, the HMS Curacoa, slicing the cruiser in half and killing more than 300 sailors. A rumor has it that some of those men were dragged beneath the Queen Mary's massive propellers and torn apart. Visitors and crew have reported seeing shadowy figures in the darkness. Others claim to hear screams of agony, muffled cries for help, and unexplained footsteps echoing through the engine room. Legend has it the propeller shaft is haunted by the spirit of a man dressed in blue-gray overalls, silently wandering the machinery below deck. Another of the Queen Mary's most famous hauntings centers on Door 13. In 1966, 18-year-old crewman John Petter was fatally crushed by a watertight door during a routine drill. It is believed he attempted to pass through as the door was closing, but misjudged the timing. Since his death, visitors and crew have reported seeing the apparition of a young man wearing white coveralls near Door 13. Others claim to hear unexplained knocking, footsteps, and voices in the area, while some say an unseen presence has touched or followed them through the passageway. The tragedy didn't stop there. In 1949, Senior Officer William Stark accidentally drank acid after mistaking it for gin. Believing it wasn't serious, he laughed it off and never sought medical attention. Days later, he died an agonizing death. Today, guests on the lower decks report hearing phantom footsteps, smelling a strong chemical odor, and even experiencing an unexplained gagging sensation. Some believe these disturbing encounters are connected to Stark's tragic final days. The Queen Mary's first-class swimming pool is said to be home to some of the ship's most famous ghostly residents. Visitors have reported seeing the apparition of a woman dressed in 1930s swimwear, along with a young girl clutching a teddy bear. Legend has it the little girl's name is Jackie. According to the story, she drowned in the pool and never truly left. Guests claim to hear her giggling, footsteps echoing across the empty deck, and even the sound of a child calling out in the silence. The Queen Mary also has many haunted staterooms, but none is more infamous than Stateroom B340. So many terrifying encounters were reported that the room was sealed off for nearly 30 years. Legend says a man murdered 2 women aboard the ship. After he was captured, he was locked inside Stateroom B340. Throughout the night, crew members heard him screaming that something else was in the room with him. When they opened the door the following morning, he was dead, and his body was torn apart. Years later, after the room was reopened, guests began reporting doors slamming, shutting on their own, lights flickering, faucets turning on by themselves, bed covers being ripped away in the middle of the night, and an overwhelming feeling that they were not alone. Some even claimed to have awakened to the sight of a dark figure standing silently at the foot of the bed. Paranormal researchers estimate that more than 100 spirits may haunt the Queen Mary. Some believe the ship sits on a paranormal vortex, creating a gateway between our world and the next. Others argue that the haunting are nothing more than sensational stories designed to attract tourists and generate business. So what's really happening aboard the Queen Mary? Restless spirits, clever marketing, or something we simply can't explain? Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories of the unexplained and paranormal.